So the thing that really, really got my attention were the movie trailers.
Mhm.
And if nothing else, it underscores the provocation or the thesis that I have about Super Bowl spots having the challenge of meeting people's expectations
Mhm.
because they're constantly trying to break through in any other time of the year so that when we see it, it goes like, oh, I feel like this could have ran any other day. I think in
Mhm.
that first block, like maybe just after the national anthem, Scream 7,
Mhm.
the new Scream trailer played. Now, look, my bias is that I love horror movies, like the gorier the better. I'm here for it. So when the trailer came on, I was like, "Yo, what is
Ooh.
this? It's another Scream! Oh my goodness!" And
Uh-huh.
like, it felt so different than everything sitting next to it. It really cut through the
Mhm.
screen, and I was like, "Well, I like Scream, so that's just maybe it's just my disposition, my preference for it." And then maybe a block or two later, there's another movie trailer. I think it was called the Disclosure Day,
Disclosure Day, the Steven
another
Spielberg one,
thriller
yeah.
kind of thing. Not as no, not as gory as
Mhm.
Scream, but more of a thriller. Cut
Mhm.
right through. I was like,
Mhm.
man, like I remember the title of the movie. Like I was like, this is what's up. Then there's like the Mandalorian,
And Grogu.
right, that spot, which actually I thought it was just a commercial. It didn't feel like a TV. It didn't feel like
Yeah.
a trailer for a movie. It felt like a commercial. And when
Mhm.
I saw it, I was like, "Oh, what is this?" And it actually didn't really hit me, even though I love the Mandalorian
Mm.
series. So, like, what's the takeaway here? That there is an aesthetic difference from movie trailers and ads, even ads that
Mhm.
feel very anthemic or very cinematic or beautifully shot. There is an aesthetic difference, and that difference makes all the difference. Secondly, the the amount of emotion that is captured in movie trailers, particularly thrillers and horror, etc., they make for such a different palette for the audience to digest.
Mhm.
Like, the palette just so you go, "Whoa, what is that?" And it breaks through, which
Mhm.
gets back to my earlier point about Coinbase. We got to break the brief. We
Mhm.
have to. Like, the Super Bowl can't be about, about frat jokes and ha-ha laughs and, like, it
The
can't just be
Salesforce
that
ad.
anymore. It can't just be that anymore.
Yeah.
Like, it has to find a way to subvert the
Mhm.
expectations so that they meet and exceed expectations. And the movie trailers really did that for me. And in years past, I've actually were annoyed by movie trailers
Oh,
in the
really? Oh, how
past.
funny.
Like, I was kinda like,
You're like, "Why
all
are
right.
you here? You don't belong here."
Exactly. They're like, "You have 364 days to do your thing. We
Yeah.
have no we wanna see the ads from the
Yeah.
ad folks, not trailers." But the trailers really broke through. And
Mhm.
for me, I go, "That's what we should be looking to." Like, every other industry every other industry looks at other industries
Mhm.
for inspiration. They look at other things to draw inspiration from to inform what they do. They look at other things that are happening next to them, not to copy,
Mhm.
but to do what Levi Strauss called bricolage,
Mhm.
which is a French word for mashup.
Mhm.
Taking these things that normally are disparate and bringing them together to create something new, right? You got a sample from this soul record, you got a break beat from some James Brown record, and you have a little bit thing from disco, and you have somebody speak on top of it. Now you got hip hop, completely new thing. And
Mhm.
we've got to break the brief. I think that like advertisers need to look at other genres, look at other industries to inform the way we go about our normal practice of approaching Super Bowl ads because our ability to meet, let alone exceed expectations are becoming increasingly more difficult.
Yeah, I think for me, the movie trailer was the one I was most looking forward to is Project Hail Mary, which is coming out, next month in
Yeah.
March. And I'm like, I want to see that. I read the book, loved it. So I've been, waiting for it. And I think what they did is kind of reflecting what you just said, where it's like they have been announcing that final trailer was going to come out during Super Bowl, right? So it's like you had to wait for the spot to come out. And one of the stories that made it across my Twitter was people at the Super Bowl watching the trailer like on their phone because they knew it was like I had just come out. And I'm like, it's showing that like, people are in it and people really want to see it. And one of the things I also want to call out here is like who didn't show up to show movie trailers. So there was no Avengers Doomsday, there was no
Mhm.
Spider-Man Brand New Day, no Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey, right? Like very, they've like sat it out this time. And it kind of made me wonder, like, why? Are they not like not ready? Do they not want the attention? Christopher Nolan's like Odyssey is because I think they want to elevate it to be like above, the mass audience of like the Super Bowl, which is fine,
We're
Um
above the Super
yeah,
Bowl.
I just, like the like aesthetics and like theme of it, like
Yeah,
it seems like it's beyond that, right? Like it's beyond the discourse where it doesn't need the Super Bowl to get the attention that it's gonna get, is what I
that's
mean.
right.
Not that it's like above
No, I'm with you, yeah,
advertising to the mass
totally.
audience, right? But the Avengers Doomsday and like Spider-Man, like this is the audience, is the Super Bowl
That's
audience.
right.
So the fact that they weren't there makes me think that the movies or like aren't going to be good, which is kind of what's been happening with Marvel properties recently. So it didn't bode well for me. Um and though we did see the Supergirl
Yeah,
movie trailer come out, but not during the Super Bowl. It came out during the Puppy Bowl for
that's right.
crypto, which I thought was like an interesting way to get more attention, which is kind of what you were talking about. It's like breaking that brief, right? It was like you would expect it to be in the regular Super Bowl, but the fact that you're going for like the Puppy Bowl because of crypto, who like, was a kind of a standout star in the Superman
Yes,
movie,
we were
was like
talking about
really smart.
earlier, that
Hmm.
being in the group chat,
Hmm.
they know what people were talking about.
Yeah.
People love crypto, and
Hmm.
crypto was the thing that connected Superman to Supergirl beyond them being cousins. Like, that
Yeah.
was the dramatic tie to connect them. For them to see that, to understand that, like, that is really good context planning. Like,
Hmm.
if that were somebody on my team, if there was a context strategist on my team, I would be like, "That's what's up. That's a
Uh-huh.
good job." But you're
Ex
right, though. Like, D Doomsday, this is the audience you wanna be in front of.
Right?
Spider-Man 1000%. So you either say, "Well, are you guys not ready to cook? Is that what's
Mhm,
going on here? Or does not wanna be overshadowed by it? Are you
mhm.
concerned of the media, expense, the airtime
Yeah,
to run?"
they're all negative signals. And this is on top of, like, the Thunderbolts coming out last year and Fantastic Four, and both of them just not really doing that well at the box
Yeah,
office. To the Marvel level, they still earned a decent amount, but not to what is expected, right?
that's right.
Um, The other one I wanna call out is that Netflix surprise dropped the Cliff Booth, spinoff from, like, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Mhm.
Nobody was expecting it, so that ended up getting them more buzz because 'cause they're like, "Whoa, we got a surprise trailer for this movie that they've kind of been talking about. It's Quentin Tarantino's, like, character, but David Fincher is, like, directing it. Brad Pitt is back. It's a new adventure," you know? So I thought that that was, like, a really smart way to do it because it's doing 2 things for me. One, it's like it's showing that Netflix is playing with the big boys now, like, like, expect them to be dropping trailers during Super Bowl Sunday the same way that the other studios are, except Marvel. And then the other thing where it's like, it's showing that it can get attention by not talking about it and letting you know beforehand, doing that, what Project Hail Mary did, which is saying that, "Hey, we're gonna drop it on Super Bowl Sunday," like, giving you those hints so you weren't like waiting for it. It was just like, oh wow, it dropped. And then everybody kind of went to go watch it because like it dropped. But the other thing I noticed, or somebody else called out on Twitter was saying that like they didn't put the name of the movie at, like, the end. So, like, people are like, "Whoa, was this just, like, they put it together like a rush job, forgot to do that?" But it also ended up getting them more attention, so I think it was a win in the end.
They played with
Um,
mystique for sure. I mean, even
yeah.
the whole spot had that, like, scribbled out thing, like this, like,
Right,
they
right,
they
right,
were
right, right,
covering up
yeah.
stuff. It's like,
Mhm.
"What's happening here?" Like,
Yeah.
mystique, it's a way to get people to lean in. There's
Mhm.
a psychologist named George Lowenstein, he calls it the gap in knowledge, and he
Mhm.
says that when there's a gap in knowledge, that we allocate all of our cognitive energy to close the gap. It's like
Mhm.
when we start a movie that's, like, not really good, you go, I gotta see how this thing ends, man.
Yeah.
Like I've invested myself in it. I gotta close the gap in knowledge. Those little carve outs, those little holes that they put in the spot, those mnemonic visuals they put in the
Mhm.
spot, as well as like not being overt with the naming convention of all this. It's sort of like if you know, you already know, and if you don't know,
Mhm.
come get involved. Like
Mhm.
that's really good planning. Again, breaking the brief. Even
Yeah.
like Levi's, like instead of focusing on the celebrities, we're only focused on the celebrities' butts. You don't even know who the celebrities are unless you're in the know. Breaking the brief. To me, that is like the real takeaway of Super Bowl this year. That like
Mhm.
we cannot approach Super Bowl the way we have had historically
Mhm.
because the expectation to delivery ratio, it's not in our favor at this moment, our being marketers.
Yeah. For sure, for
And then
sure.
and plus it's the audience, right? Like,
Yeah.
even the audience, because when the audience had these high expectations, like, "You got me." Like, it's like,
Mhm, mhm.
I'm gonna be more critical of the spots because I'm waiting for it. You got my
Mhm.
attention, right? I'll watch a 60-second spot and be like, "Whose ad is this?"
Mhm.
Where any other day, if I don't know who you are in the first couple of seconds, like, I'm out of here. If I'm not hooked, it's almost
Mhm.
like, I mean, I suppose this is further exacerbated through our media consumption that are social
Mhm.
networking platforms. Like if you're creating content on Instagram or TikTok, the first thing they say is you need a hook. Then you need a second hook.
Mhm.
Then open up the hook and you need another hook. Like it's you constantly hooking, 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 hooking the whole time, or people will scroll away. That's what advertisers are fighting on a regular basis. Super Bowl, people are like, all right, I'm here. And
Mhm.
because I'm here, you better wow me here.
Mhm.
So the
Yeah.
expectations, we don't meet expectations. The delta between reality and expectations is disappointment, not only
Mhm.
for the advertisers, but also for the audience.
Yeah, definitely.